My name is Clara Mitchell. I'm 52 years old, and I've always thought of myself as someone practical, steady, grounded, the type who keeps emotions tucked away like old letters in a drawer. I was married once, for 16 years. It ended without chaos. No arguments, no betrayal. Just silence, distance, and the slow fading of something that once felt full of hope. Since then, I've lived a life that was familiar and safe, comfortable, predictable. I never sought out change or surprise, certainly not romance. I had my morning walks, my little backyard garden, and a book club that met every other Tuesday. I thought that was enough. And then, one quiet Sunday afternoon in late spring, everything shifted. It was the kind of afternoon where the air is soft and scented with rosemary and lemon. Windows wide open, sunlight painting golden patches on the floor. I was making my usual roasted chicken, something I could do with my eyes closed. I heard the back door creak, but didn't turn right away. I figured it was the breeze or maybe the neighbor's cat sneaking in again. Then I heard a voice behind me. Smells like something out of a magazine in here. I turned, and there he was, Aaron, my friend Linda's son. He was taller than I remembered, broader through the shoulders. The boyish charm was still there, but something had changed. He had a calm presence, thoughtful and grounded in a way I hadn't noticed before. He smiled. I wiped my hands on a dish towel. Aaron, what are you doing here? I didn't even hear you come in. Mom asked me to drop off that bottle of white wine you like. She said you were cooking. That's sweet of her. And do you want to stay for a bite? He hesitated, just for a moment, then nodded. If you don't mind. I didn't. The truth is, I hadn't had company in a while. Not the kind that fills a room just by being in it. Aaron wasn't a talker. He moved slowly through the kitchen, fingertips brushing the countertop like he was remembering it. It still smells the same in here, he said. Like thyme and something warm. I used to love coming over after school. This place always felt cozy. You were always so polite, I said with a laugh. Trying hard to act older than you were. I was trying to impress you, he replied. I paused. There was no teasing in his voice, no smirk. Just truth. I turned back to the oven, suddenly aware of how close he was standing. The air between us felt thick. Not uncomfortable, just different. I focused on basting the chicken, brushing it carefully, trying to push away the odd flutter in my chest. You've always had a way of making this place feel like home, he said quietly behind me. Like anyone would want to stay. I looked over my shoulder. That's sweet. But it's just a house, Aaron. Even the coziest spaces can feel quiet after a while. He leaned on the kitchen island, watching me with an expression I couldn't quite read. Is that how it feels for you? Quiet. I didn't know how to answer. I wanted to say no, but the truth was caught in my throat. Instead I said, can you grab the salad bowl from the fridge? He did, and we moved around the kitchen like partners in an old familiar dance. Opening drawers, passing spoons, brushing past one another in the narrow space between the stove and sink. Every time we touched, even slightly, it sent a jolt through me. And I hated how much I noticed it. We sat down to eat as the sunlight dipped behind the trees, leaving a soft golden chill across the table. I poured the wine he brought, and for a while, we ate in silence. Then halfway through his meal, Aaron put his fork down. He looked straight at me and said something I wasn't ready for. I used to think about this. About sitting here with you like this. Just the two of us. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. My fork hovered in midair. Aaron. I know, he said quickly. I know how it sounds. I don't mean to make things uncomfortable. I've thought about it. For a long time. There was no mischief in his voice, no bravado. Just quiet honesty. The kind that doesn't demand anything, just hopes to be heard. I whispered, why now? He looked down into his glass, then back up. Because you're here. And so am I. That night, after he left, I stood at the kitchen sink long after the last dish was dried. The quiet was back, but something inside me had changed. His words looped in my mind. Because you're here and so am I. I didn't know exactly what he meant. But deep down I did. There was something in his gaze, steady, calm, that stirred something in me. Not infatuation. Not recklessness. Possibility. The next morning, before the sun had even risen, I was wide awake, tangled in my blankets and my thoughts. I replayed everything: his glance, his voice, the electricity in our silences. I didn't tell Linda. How could I? What would I say? Your son came over and made me feel something I haven't felt in a decade. By Wednesday, I caught myself standing a little longer in front of the mirror before heading to the grocery store. I curled my hair, put on a soft lilac blouse I hadn't worn in ages. It made my eyes look brighter, or at least that's what my sister used to say. I wasn't expecting to see Aaron again so soon. But life doesn't wait for permission. That afternoon, just as I was unpacking groceries, the doorbell rang. He stood there with a cardboard container. Mom made peach cobbler. Told me to bring you some. Did she now? I smiled and stepped aside. Come in. He entered like he belonged. Like the house remembered him. Again, that strange feeling returned. Familiar, but charged. We sat in the kitchen and ate the cobbler, still warm. Talked about little things, his work, my garden, the weather. But beneath it all was that same quiet hum. That presence that spoke louder than our words. When I rinsed the plates, he came up behind me, closed like before. But he didn't say anything right away. Just stood there. Then softly, do you ever wonder what life would be like if some things had gone differently? I turned. What do you mean? If you'd met someone else? If we'd said something sooner? The room held its breath. I think we all wonder, I said carefully. But wondering doesn't always mean acting. I know, he replied. But it's hard to keep wondering when you're right in front of me. I didn't answer. I couldn't. My heart was thudding, unsure of what had just happened. Or what almost had. He stepped back respectfully. I'm sorry. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. You didn't, I said, maybe too fast. You just caught me off guard. He nodded, eyes gentle. I should go. I walked him to the door. Before he left, he turned and said, I meant what I said, about how you make this place feel like home. And then he was gone. The days that followed felt disjointed, like someone had rearranged the furniture inside my mind. I moved through my routines, watering the garden, folding laundry, flipping through books I couldn't focus on. He stayed in my thoughts. The way he looked at me, like I wasn't just someone's mother's friend, but a whole person. Seen. Felt. On Friday, I wandered to the farmer's market. I needed the air, the noise. Something to distract me. And there he was. He was crouched beside a stand, helping an elderly vendor stack peaches. He looked up, and our eyes met. Like a thread had pulled his gaze to mine. Hey, he said as I approached. Didn't expect to see you here. Likewise, I said. We walked together, no destination. Just the easy rhythm of shared steps and quiet conversation. He bought me an iced coffee, exactly how I liked it. Oat milk. A hint of vanilla. I hadn't told him that recently. He just remembered. We sat on a bench near the park. I finally asked what had been pressing at my chest all week. Why me, Aaron? I mean, I'm older. I'm your mom's friend. This is complicated. He looked at me, calm and unwavering. Because you're kind. You listen. Because when I'm around you, I feel like I don't have to pretend I've got everything figured out. I feel safe. No one had said anything like that to me in years. Maybe longer. I know it sounds messy, he added. But I'm not trying to complicate your life. I just wanted you to know this means something to me. I looked down at my hands. I've been alone a long time, Aaron. Not lonely, necessarily. Just used to the quiet. I didn't expect anything meaningful anymore. It's not over, he said gently. Not unless you want it to be. That evening, I stood brushing my hair in the mirror. And for the first time in a long while, I didn't just see a woman getting older. I saw someone waking up. The next night, just as the sky turned gold, there was a knock. I knew it was him. He stood there, nervous but steady. Didn't mean to drop by unannounced. It's okay, I said. Come in. We sat in the kitchen again. The air full of everything we hadn't yet said. I don't want to make things harder for you, he began. But I care. This isn't something fleeting for me. I nodded. You still catch me off guard, Aaron. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel something too. He didn't reach for my hand. He simply let his fingers rest near mine. I didn't pull away. We just sat in the quiet as the crickets began their evening song. And for the first time in a very long time, I didn't feel alone in the silence. I felt seen. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough for now. Thank you for listening to Clara's story. If her journey touched you in any way, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective.